Is he available for tonight or?
Game time decision.
Yeah. And then Mesnikov wasn't out there. Did
he anticipate him being available?
Okay. He's just.
Yeah, I just didn't need to skate this morning, yeah. So I anticipate him being available.
For Colorado, Devin Taves has been a guy who's been, a solid defenseman in the league for a while. And this year, offensively, he's kind of taken off. Like, when you've seen him, what is your kind of impression of his game and how he's kind of taken that next step?
Hard for me to say without being there on a day-to-day basis, in terms of the next step. I think point production can ebb and flow. I don't necessarily look at point production and necessarily say, well, that guy's having a great year or not having a great year. Certainly that's a factor in it. I think Devin Taves has been a really good player. As you said, in this league for a while, regardless of the point production. I don't think he needs the point production to just have a good year, but with that, certainly that's adding a lot. Now they score a lot. They score a lot from the defensemen. They're a high-powered offense. So I think, when you're on a team like that, which he has been, it's not like this is his first year with Colorado, but I think you're going to score more. Certainly, with the Islanders, when we played there, that's a different type of team. So Devin Taves is a really good player. He's a really good, solid, winning type defenseman in my mind. And so if he produces points, it means he's not cheating for points. He's not doing that, and it means he's having a real good year for sure. But I think he's had other real good years where maybe those point totals were quite high.
Thanks.
Yep.
Daniela Bruce.
Coach, obviously Joe Valeno out there too. Is he kind of it's a game time decision for him too, just based on Larkin and everything else?
Yeah, correct. Yep. That'll be a game time decision as well. So we got some balls up in the air here. We got to kind of sort out as we get into the game.
All right, and then just you talked about Colorado yesterday, but obviously last time you guys played them, they scored what felt kind of relentlessly, and now you guys have had some time to prepare for them. What are you expecting heading into tonight?
Well, first off, they're a very good team, one of the best teams in the league, without a doubt. Last time we went in there, we were on the back half of back-to-back and got in fairly late and had a number of guys out, and that affects you. It doesn't mean that it shouldn't be an inhibitor to winning, but it is different. In that game, we gave up lots of goals. We also had lots of chances, and we believe we can create chances. We got to do a better job of eliminating some of their easier chances. They're going to create chances on their own. They're going to break it down. But we got to do a better job. I hope, we'll have a challenge in our D zone tonight. They roll all over the place and have a lot of dynamic players that are hard to stay with. If you make mistakes in your own end, they'll beat you up the ice, so we just got to be really, really good defensively without being passive. And that's something that is going to be important. We want them to defend as much as possible. So, I hope we're a better team today than we were on December 10th. When we played in Colorado, but we'll see.
Yeah, they put together some crazy streaks this season too. One of them, I think it's been 12 straight road games before they lost to Boston on Monday. Just speak to how hard and difficult that is to do. And now that they're coming off of a loss, do you think that's any different for you guys or what you'll see?
Yeah, it's really difficult to do. To win that many games on the road, to win that many periods, really difficult to do. It speaks to, their leadership, speaks to their coaching staff, but also speaks to their talent. And when you have a lot of ability, you're going to have nights, everybody has nights where they don't play their best, but you still find ways to win, especially if you can score. And, if you have a combination of scoring and getting good goaltending, which they've gotten through most of that stretch. So, again, they're one of the very top 1, 2, 3 teams in the league without a doubt, and so it'll be a challenge.
Hey Jeff, you guys have faced Helmer before, obviously this season. This will be his first time back here. What did he bring to the table? Was he one of those guys that was just a quiet leader in the room for you guys?
Quiet leader, but demanded a lot. His work ethic is excellent, both on and off the ice, in the weight room, in practice. He's one of those guys whose attention to detail is great. He's one of those guys who studies any information we put there, he would study it. So his preparation was great, and not necessarily in a real boisterous way, but certainly demanded that of other people. And I think he's a great person to have in the locker room. I think he's a great person, and I think he's a great person to have in the locker room. And his effort on a day-to-day basis is excellent. his compete on a day-to-day basis is excellent. So, I'm sure he's adding good value to their locker room, but he certainly did that here. And he did that here in the last few years under trying times. I mean, he came in to Detroit, when Detroit was somewhat at its peak or at its peak maybe, and played a lot, was a big factor in a lot of really good Detroit teams here. And, obviously he was a center for a long time, played wing then for a while, went through some injury issues, but his determination and work ethic have remained extraordinarily high.
He's one of those understated guys that could really help the young guys on a roster, I would think. And over there, I don't know, just show them that last piece how to win maybe or something like that.
Well, I'm sure that's what they're hoping, and also you need players that give you momentum, energy shifts, and he certainly does that. And and I think they're a group that's got some real high end ability up front, but they need and if any team to win deep in the playoffs needs depth throughout their lineup, and he can certainly add that.
Thanks for this, Jeff.
Yep.
Elaine St. James.
Jeff, with regards to Joe, what's kind of been the discussion between you and Steve in terms of, he's obviously, especially with young guys, you want him to play, but just where, he's better off in Detroit, is he better off in Grand Rapids, the situation there?
I won't certainly get into our discussions with Steve and I, but I would just say that, I think wherever he's at, we want him to play meaningful minutes. We'd like him to be in position to try to thrive and not just survive. It's not always a perfect world. There's times where he may be needed and he might not be ready to thrive, but I don't necessarily think those aren't meaningful minutes. I think there's opportunities to learn lessons in both situations. In this situation, if he's not in up the lineup a lot, he still has to learn how to do it right. And by that I mean, how hard you got to compete to win puck battles, how you have to manage the puck, how you have to get pucks out and pucks in. Those are lessons that, regardless if he's playing lots or little, are going to be critically important for him to learn. He can learn them here. On the reverse side, when he's down, I think he's got opportunities to do a little bit more with the puck, have more opportunities, certainly on the power play. He doesn't play in our power play when he's up here, he's killing penalties. So, he's in that balance between the two. And part of it is, we're balancing what's best for Joe Veleno and what's best for the Detroit Red Wings. And sometimes those worlds collide, but we try to do the best we can to make sure the development of the player is paramount. So, we'll see where it goes from I don't know that it's one thing where it's, Joe's probably at a spot too in his maturity where he can handle going up and down a little bit. When a young player comes over and they're just starting to find their footing in the American League, it's hard to call them up and down, but Joe's been around enough, this is his third year of pro hockey. He can probably handle a little bit up and down, and we don't want it to be a roller coaster, but that's part of the mental toughness it takes to be successful in this league.
Where do you see him kind of developing in the longer term rebuild picture? Like, do you have a comparable for him, like you've talked about with Michael Rasmussen at times?
I don't yet. I think at the very least, we need Joe to become a real accountable player that can give you winning minutes. And then how much point production he can do while he does that is yet to be seen. I think he can be a guy on the power play. Can he make your power play better? That's yet to be seen. I think he can be a penalty killer. Can he make your penalty kill better? That's yet to be seen. So, ultimately, we need each one of our players to develop a two-way game so that we can win at the highest level here. We need to make sure that none of our players are cheating for offense, number one, or careless with the puck, number two. Those are lessons he can learn. And then how much he can produce within those parameters is yet to be seen.
Thank you.
Yep.
Carly Johnson.
Kind of piggybacking off of what Daniela was asking, is there an advantage or disadvantage to the Avs coming off of a loss Monday night? And it's been almost a week since you guys have seen game action.
Yeah, two different things, but definitely both are I don't know if they're advantages or disadvantages. I would have, I don't know that when you watch an opponent, and they don't have a great game. Sometimes you get an angry opponent. That's not always awesome. But I also would say, sometimes if you can play really good and force them to not play as good, then there can be frustration. So it just depends a little bit on how you play. Certainly, we have the advantage a little bit of having rest. But I also would say you get, as I said to our guys yesterday, like we needed to dial it in mentally yesterday, dial it in physically yesterday, because you can't just turn that switch on. Once you hit the game, especially against a team like this, it's going to be going fast. And if we're not quite up to that game readiness, then we won't be good enough. So, I thought our guys did a pretty good job of that. I thought we did a pretty good job in practice. Certainly yesterday, I thought we did. But we'll see. I hope the rest outweighs the rust. But we'll see when the puck drops tonight.
Awesome. And I saw Garcer get off the ice first. Can you speak to the importance of the consistency that he's had in the net as of late?
Well, he's been good. His last 5 starts, I think, have been really good. Now there's 2 months in between some of, I think one of those, and it's a lot. It's not like it's been 5 over the last 3 weeks. It's been 5 over 2 months, but he seems like his game is sharpening up, and he had a real good run at the end of last year for us, and we're hoping he can have a good run again for us this year. We're gonna need both guys to be good. That's the reality. We got a lot of games coming up, and our games are we're not a team that gives up 5, 6, 7 chances a game. We give up too many chances, and when you do that, you put a lot of weight on the shoulders of your goalies. So the goalies, to expect them to roll out every night and be great is difficult. That's what you need. If you get a 1 and 1A and kind of get them rolling both together. I think that's the recipe for our team to have success.
Sure. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
That's it for us this morning. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.